guys, welcome back. It is me, Tony, of course, of WithTonieTV. Thank you for joining me or coming back. Like I said, today we have a pretty different video, but I'm excited to kind of jump into the hair world of things because if you don't know, I'm a professional hairstylist who focuses on natural hair. So today we are going to be reacting to Latoya Ebony, who is a natural hair guru, influencer, YouTuber here on the platform, who did a 30-day natural hair detox by the creators of Black Curl Magic and I Am Black Girl Curls. I think that's what it's called. They got a lot of names and a lot of products, so Black Curl Magic, I know for sure you can find them under that. And the reason why I chose to react to this video today is because I really just wanted to add my 2 cents to the conversation. I'm a person who believes in honest education. I don't really have to do the far left or far right propaganda to get people to subscribe to me or buy into what I'm saying. I just don't believe in doing that. And most of the time when you're selling a product, you have to do that. So I chose her specifically because she is very educated, clearly has common sense as well as book smarts, and is very sure of herself. So I know, or I feel, that she won't take offense to this, and in this no way, shape, or form am I doing this to attack anybody, and I think that'll become clear throughout the video. I've already filmed this once, so my voice is a little hoarse. Hopefully it still sounds pretty good throughout this video, but let's go ahead and jump in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share with friends so that we can have a dialogue here and on other platforms. All right, so let's jump into the first clip.
Dry detangle. That means I untangle or loosen any obvious knots or areas of high definition from my previous style while my hair is still dry. Next, I fully saturate the lengths of my hair and scalp with water. If you're new to my channel, I did my second big chop December of 2016, so this is about 5 years of growth, give or take some with haircuts and
And I wanted to touch on this because there's so much misinformation around detangling and when to detangle at that. So if you don't know, your hair is weakest when wet. So by her just gently separating the hair, it is going to make her process slightly easier when she goes into shampoo and condition her hair and kind of remove some of those tangles to make her life a little bit easier. All right, let's go into the next clip.
For my shampoo, I'm using one of my favorite sulfate treatment shampoos that keep my scalp clean, clear, and on point. I gently massage it into my scalp. With the 30-day detox, aka no oils, no butter detox, raw oils on the hair or scalp is avoided. Because I produce enough sebum, I don't oil my scalp. It's just one less step I have to change in my routine.
Okay, so in this clip we have 2 notes, or 2 so you don't get confused. We have 2 notes. The first one is that she used Nizoral. I don't want you to think that you have to run out and buy this shampoo because she used this shampoo. This is a medicated shampoo for people who have severe scalp issues like seborrheic dermatitis. It'll help remove that dandruff and help to balance out the scalp again. So don't go out and buy this unless you have been diagnosed with a scalp condition by a dermatologist or it's very evident that you have a severe scalp issue. She also mentions that her scalp produces enough sebum or oil. Sebum is the scientific term for oil that is produced through the glands, our sebaceous glands on the scalp, and they're also found on our face. So she mentions that she doesn't use oils because she produces enough. That is important to keep in mind because throughout the years, no matter what, we've been taught grease your scalp, oil your hair, all that good stuff, but sometimes people really don't need it. And if you're on the drier spectrum, go ahead and use an oil, but it doesn't always have to be heavy. That will depend a little bit more on what you're looking for. I'm a girl who sticks with jojoba with a blend of other things when necessary because it mimics our scalp more than any other oil, or jojoba mimics the oil that our scalp naturally produces. All right, so let's move on.
It's my first time using this brand, so you'll be experiencing it with me. I like to detangle during the conditioning step. I focus the products on the ends and use my fingers to remove shed hair and work through any tangles.
So I love that she mentioned that she focuses the conditioner on the ends of her hair. The reason why you do that is because the ends do not receive the same amount of nourishment as the new growth that is nearest the scalp. So conditioner was specifically designed to focus on the ends as well as up the shaft, but it is not really needed on those roots as much. She also detangled with her fingers, which I thought was interesting. I'm not a huge finger detangle person. Believe it or not, I still use a wide tooth comb. They're not created equal, and of course there's going to be people who feel left or right on this situation. I am one of those people, and you'll see later that she mentions that she uses her fingers, or prefers to use fingers over a detangling brush. However, I would say go in with the comb, and then if that's not adequate enough, then go in with a brush. But I wouldn't jump in straight with a brush. As you can see if you watch this series, she kind of struggled with that detangling.
Section by section, and trying my best to get every strand of hair. I'm generous with the product, and the excess water helps spread it easier. Okay, this is my favorite part. I'm using the Wavy Mousse by Hair Rules. I layer mousse on top of my gel to help with the definition and faster drying time. I learned these last steps from Anthony Dickey, the owner of Hair Rules, this product line.
Okay, so what I loved about this was, she didn't mention it, but you can, if you pay close attention, you can see that by using the gel and the mousse in the shower, it actually absorbed that water. She wet her hair instead of wringing it out, and that is an amazing thing. It'll make your product stretch further, which means they'll last longer, and those products are designed to grab that extra water and lock it into the hair, which creates moisture. You also see here that she used her foam after the gel, which I thought was interesting, but there's multiple ways to do things. I am a foam then gel person, but either one, whichever works best for you, is the right way to do it.
Okay, so here's a shot of my hair a few hours later in the sun. Still wet, but drying faster than normal. That's a feat for low porosity hair.
Okay, so this is the last clip from week 1, and the reason why I'm putting this one out is because, like many women, she opted to air dry. Now, she mentioned later on throughout this series that nobody has time to go in and sit under a hooded dryer, because you're moms. Even if you're not a mom, you have a life still. But what I suggest is, if you don't have time to sit under a hooded dryer in the morning when you are doing your wash and go, if it's still wet by the time you go to bed, just please give yourself 30 minutes under the dryer, or however long it takes to get those roots dry, because it is never a good idea to go to sleep on wet hair. Okay, so let's jump into week 2.
I followed it up with a wavy mousse on top, then twisted that section of hair. I repeated these steps until my whole head was covered in large twist. But you know what? I won't lie, this felt weird. I'm so used to my leave-in and the slip of the oil. The mousse actually has amazing slip, but I could still feel the squeaky clean feeling of my hair. Being 100% transparent.
So the one thing I loved about week 2 was where she pointed out her mistakes. So she went in and tried to do a twist out this week, as you can see here, but she didn't read the chapter on twist outs just yet, where they suggest other products rather than using the same gel and mousse that she used for wash and goes. So she did get a bad result with this, and this is a learning lesson in the fact that different products do different things, and certain products are good in moderation. Most things in life are okay in moderation. The one thing you want to avoid is heavy shea butters or heavy butters, and for one, me is a big no-no, is a shea butter. That drives me nuts. But anyway, let's go ahead and get back into this. So now we're on to week 3. Let's go ahead and see what she has to say.
It took me about 40 to 45 minutes alone through the detangling process using a brush. Normally, my hair takes 25 to 30 minutes using my fingers when I'm incorporating oils in my routine. Perhaps with a good haircut, a different detangler, and more time with this process, that time will improve. Okay,
so a couple of things in this clip. The first one being, I love that she twisted her hair in sections as she detangled with conditioner. A lot of you know this trick already, but it helps to keep the hair from coiling back around the other strands again and creating tangles as you rinse it out, or as it sits for you to rinse it out. Just a great way to help manage your hair. And then she also mentions that it took her 2 hours. Personally, I feel for the same working woman or everyday woman, if you don't have time to sit under a hooded dryer, you probably don't have 2 hours to spend in the shower doing your hair. And she mentions ways that would potentially reduce her time, as in better detangling, trims, and then also just getting a better grasp on the method, because this method is new to her. For one, I definitely recommend simplifying your hair routine or your hair strategy. And one of those ways, again, like I mentioned earlier, is just using a wide tooth comb before you use that detangling brush, because I can bet you that that detangling brush that she used is probably part of the reason why her routine took her so long, because the teeth are so close together. It makes it a little bit more challenging to separate the hair easier. So going in, just like if you've seen those old school blow dryers that we use at home that have the wide tooth comb attachment option, and then it has the skinnier one, you can use the wide tooth portion first to kind of go in and break up those tangles on a larger scale, and then go in with the brush to go in and pull it apart in those tighter locked areas. We have week 4, which I lost the clips for that, and I'm not really going to go through the effort of trying to re-download everything and edit it again. But she mentions a few things, the first being clarifying and when to clarify. So she mentions sweat as one of the things, and also dandruff, but you also want to clarify when there's product buildup. For most people, if you're using this method, you only really need to clarify once a month, which is awesome, because if you're integrating hair salons with your routine, that means they'll do the clarifying for you, and then at home you can kind of just manage with your moisturizing shampoo or another shampoo, which I'm going to jump into. But buildup, to note, is not always product buildup, but sometimes that sebum that starts on our scalp works its way down and builds up. We also have pollution, which can get into the hair, just like it affects our body and creates aging. It can also create aging within the hair. Next, she mentions her all-purpose shampoo. So this got mentioned as a mistake that she made when she shampooed wrong. However, most people don't really discuss all-purpose shampoo. So all-purpose shampoos are that like middle ground. It's the little bit of moisture, a little bit of like cleansing. I don't want to say clarifying, but it is that middle ground between those two, and that's something you can use at home if you're not comfortable using a clarifying shampoo. So that is going to be a great shampoo to use once a week. I still would follow it with a moisturizing shampoo, and then once a month clarify. Now that we have kind of run through all of week 1 through 4, her 30-day detox, we're going to go into some commentary that she had throughout and after the program, which was being called out by the creators of Black Curl Magic. I told you I'm going to get that confused every time, my bad. And then also she did an influencers versus hairstylists dialogue, which she posted on Patreon and posted a little snippet on YouTube. So let's kind of run through those things. So when she was called out, it was a lot of back and forth on them pretty much being condescending, and this has been told directly to the creators before of this 30-day detox, and it's no surprise to them. And so in their defense, they have said that they are tired, which I understand. You get tired of people coming to you for advice, not wanting to take it, being combative and telling you why that doesn't work. So it's like, why even ask in the first place? And that comes from clients and stylists alike, because they train stylists as well, and it just gets frustrating. That is no excuse though, because if you are talking to consumers or people who are admittedly saying that they know less than you in a subject, which is why they're paying you to be taught, you don't really need to be condescending to get the point across. And this isn't only an issue in the natural hair community, but every single coach so far in a community, whether it be nursing, real estate, hair, any of that, they have all found themselves talking down to you when they don't really realize that you don't need to talk down to people or make them feel guilty or make them feel less than as a tactic to add value. You can add value and highlight that people might need your services without belittling them. All right, so let's jump into the clips from influencers versus hairstylists, and then we'll wrap this thing on up.
Do anything I can to stay away from the doctor's office, which they should. You know, you should, not that you can't trust them, but it's like, take care of your health, you know, before you need a doctor. But every once in a while hopefully you find a good doctor and you trust them and you feel like they're listening to you. And sometimes you really have to go to the doctor. Like, you just have to sometimes, even if you don't want to, you have to, because they're trained, they're the professional, and they can help you in a way that but the professional side, especially what I'm learning with Cut It Kinky or the videos that you made with like I Am Black Girl Curls, they're also helping me to simplify, you know, simplify my thought process and what a professional can help you do. So I think both together really help us as women, Black women in particular, to have a freedom with our hair that we never had before. Mm-hmm. And that is very much needed. And I have seen that when people try to DIY some things and they're doing these crazy things that they learned on YouTube, or I knew a lot of girls at school were learning things from like Facebook and forums on Facebook. They were doing insane stuff to their hair and still making it super complicated. And unfortunately, even some professionals would promote it in a way like, yeah, do this, do that. And you're like, wait. And so I think that there is.
Okay, so Destiny again makes 2 points here. She talks about needing professionals to simplify your routine. That is actually one of the things that I preach, as you saw that I mentioned earlier. 2 hours in the shower to do your hair is entirely too long. That isn't even including washing your body, potentially shaving, depending on how frequently you shave, etc. So you do need a professional to teach you how to just get back to the basics, and that's one of the beauties of the 30-day detox, like Latoya mentioned. She also mentioned that sometimes things on YouTube and the internet can overcomplicate things. DIYers can overcomplicate. One of the biggest things where you find that it's overcomplicated is rice water. Why do you need something unregulated like rice water when you can simply buy a protein treatment? Buy something that has been made and tested to work on your hair safely instead of doing this at home. I do know somebody who used rice water too frequently and it actually broke her hair off. And that's one of the things that you want to avoid by doing a DIY. And there are also hairstylists who are finding too much on YouTube. I saw a hairstylist who used rice water and put her client under the dryer. Why would you do that when you have access to, again, professional products that have been tested and proven to work? All right, so let's jump into this last clip and we are going to wrap it on up.
And I walk in with my hair like this, and he or she is like, oh my God, your hair is so thick. You know, you have to come to me with your hair pre-detangled. You have to come to me with your hair blown out to get a trim.
This clip, Destiny was talking about stylists who complain about your hair type. These stylists are clearly not the stylists for you. I have seen this in the past where stylists don't like doing excessively thick hair. They have suggested texturizers and other things. Never listen to those people. Now that we have progressed in our natural hair journeys, we kind of know what to avoid. And those people who complain about your hair, you should not be going to. The first time they make a complaint about your hair, move on to the next. Now, you have to understand when it's a complaint versus a general statement. Like, sometimes somebody might be like, oh my gosh, your hair is so thick. Doesn't mean they have a problem doing it. It's just catching them by surprise, because most people who say they have thick hair genuinely don't. And then the people who really have thick hair, it's like, wow, like it's a beauty. So that's, don't get it confused, but when you clearly see a complaint, make sure that you identify that that's not the stylist. If you want to get up and walk out, then thank them for what they've done. If they've already shampooed your hair, pay them for the shampoo, and then move on to finding a stylist that's the best fit for you. She also talks about why the hairstylist and the influencer are needed, and she makes a good reference point, is that the influencer is almost like talking to your girlfriend or your mom or your auntie, that person who's tried this product and is going to tell you about it. Most of the time, hairstylists stick to their tried and true products that work for a large range of hair types, because it would get quite expensive if we had a different product for each curl type, density, porosity. Imagine that. So we work hand in hand. You get the technique that helps to manage, grow, and nourish your hair, plus those product recommendations from other people on how to maintain your hair at home.
But I'm very interested in going to a salon where, you know, we could do all those special things, massage, like, for me, I don't, so that's why I really don't like the term DIY. I think it's more like daily hair care, or as you said, I'm going on holiday.
Miss Abby in this clip, I'm not sure of her role, but she mentioned something very vital, that it's not always about DIY, but it's more like a daily hair care. So DIY is that part that sounds really complicated, that just sounds like the person who wants to do everything from making their own products all the way up to doing their own hair, never wants to see a professional. There are people like that who exist, but a lot of the women are just doing daily hair care, finding something they can manage on their own until they see a hairstylist, which is a great point, and which is why YouTube comes in handy. As a hairstylist, I actually like YouTube for the creativity. So sometimes you see people get creative at home and do a different style. Maybe I can take what they did, add a professional touch to it, and give someone a whole new look that I didn't think of before. Or again, maybe I need to see these products that people are using at home, so I can make a recommendation to them or tell them why this product isn't good. But it keeps me current, because now companies are reaching out to influencers to promote products, so they've seen it sometimes before professional hairstylists have seen it. So without going on too much of a ramble anymore, just know that it's not always about DIY, but it is about daily hair care, and that works in conjunction with that monthly salon appointment or that quarterly salon appointment, whenever you're going to get your hair done. All right, that was a lot. I hope it made sense to you. Of course, if you have thoughts on this, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, so that we can have a dialogue about it down in the comments below and on any other platform where you might have shared it with friends and family. Make sure you check out my last video right here, and make sure you are looking forward to Vlogtober, because I already have a list of things coming. Let me know what you would like to see in the near future, and maybe for Vlogtober, and I will see you guys next time.